Afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this post-match press conference. We've got Zoom integration as well, a Zoom audience coming in from our media hub in Barbados. We'll start with questions from here at the stadium, and then we'll move on to our Zoom audience. So please, everyone, ensure that you have a microphone on your hand before you ask a question, especially for our transcribers. Who'd like to go first?
Josh, it was a real onslaught from Rohit Sharma. Is that some of the best hitting that you guys have come across?
Yeah, I've seen Rohit do that a few times now. Yeah, he's a world-class player, so if you're a bit off your game, that can happen. It just looked like he obviously targeted that the boundary with the wind there for a while, and then we probably reacted, and then he hit a few the other side as well. So he's a class act, and you expect him to do that a couple of times through a tournament.
And where did it go wrong for you guys today? Do you think was there things in the bowling innings that could have tempered things a bit?
Yeah, I thought the wicket was a pretty good wicket. It was probably a 190 pass score, and yeah, they got the other side of it, and we went underneath. So I thought the chase was well on target for quite a lot of the time there, and probably till Kuldeep and Jasper, their 8 overs probably proved the difference again, as they usually do. So, but yeah, obviously fell apart at the end, but the chase was well on target for a long time there.
And what's the feeling like, I suppose, being on the verge of being knocked out of the tournament, but you've still got another result that you're relying on?
Yeah, it's a strange feeling, I guess. You've got to wait till late tonight to find out. But yeah, we obviously can't do anything else than what we've done, and we'll be hoping that Bangladesh can get the job done.
Just the game overall, Josh, like after the Afghanistan defeat, like less than 30 hours later, you're here against India. Just the turnaround and how challenging that was for you guys. I mean, you got into the island just like late last evening.
Yeah, I think it was fine. As part of international cricket, you're always travelling. Yeah, I think the guys came ready this morning, and yeah, we played pretty well for the majority of the game. I think they were just probably a bit more clinical in a few areas. But no, that's part of the game, I think.
But as the wickets started falling, was there any talk of net run rate at all? Like of like, okay, let's get to a certain target so that we are above Bangladesh or Afghanistan?
Yeah, definitely. I think once the bowlers sort of start to bat, that talk starts to float around, and 180 was probably our score that we need to get to, I think. 175, 180. So we managed to get that. I think we're 0.3 maybe ahead. So yeah, fingers crossed tonight.
Have you ever been in that position where you like sat and watched another team kind of hopefully win a game for you?
I don't think so, no. I think it's the first for me. Actually maybe in an IPL, but never for international cricket. So yeah, it's a strange one.
And just finally, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the fielding. Even today, it was sloppy, maybe not as sloppy as Afghanistan. Do you just put that to just the nature of the tournament where you're traveling and playing, or is there anything else to it?
No, I think it hasn't been good enough, probably. We saw definitely one drop catch today, but maybe two. But yeah, I'm not sure what you could put it down to. The guys are always working as hard as ever on the fielding at training, and there might not be as many opportunities to work on it around games in these sort of tournaments. You're always travelling and playing, so but yeah, it hasn't been good enough for the last few games in particular.
I was going to ask about the drop catches as well, Josh. Like the fact that you're seeing some of the St Vincent venue you guys hadn't seen before you got there, and you dropped 5 catches. Is that a factor?
I'm not sure. It could play a part, I guess, being the new ground without. I mean, in warm up you take a few, but you only get one side to warm up on. One thing I guess here is very, very windy, so it's just as hard catching into the wind as it is down breeze, as we saw today with India as well. So you see some really good fielders drop catches, and I guess it's out of the ordinary, but I think once you put all that together, new stadium, windy, yeah, they're not excuses, but I guess that's something.
And just overall, like slipping up in both of these last 2 games, like the fact they're so tight between games, the fact you can't train just the batting, bowling, and fielding. Has that been something that's been a challenge?
I think you're used to it I think, we play so much cricket, you don't really need to train, even if there was another day. I mean, the quicks wouldn't train, we wouldn't have a bowl. The batters might go down for a hit and field, but I think you play that much cricket these days that you've got to adapt to that and be ready to go, whether you're training or not. So that's international cricket, as I said.
Josh, just on the wind, did you sort of find it difficult as a team to sort of adjust to what it did to your lengths? Because it felt like it was a lot easier to find that sort of 6 to 8 metre length from the far end than the near end. I don't know if that was...
No, I think obviously Mitch and I are very different bowlers. He's trying to get it up and get it swinging, and we've seen that for 10 years. It's pretty devastating when it's on. So he's always got a freedom to do that and take wickets up front, which he usually does. So today wasn't the day, but I think from both ends are different. I mean, you're trying to cover that one side with the wind, but we saw enough get hit out to that other boundary from Rohit and other players. So you still can't duck and dive, 100% wise away from that side.
And then just in terms of sort of what tonight looks like for you guys, do you expect you'll sort of all sit down and watch it together as a team, find somewhere in the hotel, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think so. Be nice if it started at 1 o'clock, but 8:30 is pretty late to sort of wait on pins and needles. But I assume we'll be pretty much together watching that game and hoping for the best.
Josh, I mean, it potentially could be David Warner's last international game. Was there any talk or mention of that once the game finished? And have you had a chat with him? And just the fact that this could well have been the last time you shared a dressing room, an Australian dressing room with him.
No, nothing's been said yet. I think we'll wait for. Oh, it might be said after this, before the game, but I think we'll wait till after the game, and then we'll sort of the career that's been. I guess it's been unbelievable. So we'll definitely miss him around the group, out in the field and off field. So amazing all format career.
And just on that, like, how strange will it be a dressing room now? I mean, he had the test retirement and the one-day retirement, but this is it, right? Like, so what's the dressing room going to be like without David Warner in it?
Yeah, I guess we've had a little taste of it. So it's sort of been a slow burn. We've had Test cricket and ODI cricket, and now T20. So life without him, we've sort of gotten used to a little bit in New Zealand, and it's always different when you lose a player that's been there for so long. But we'll move on and push forward.
Josh, obviously there's been a lot of talk coming into this tournament about the chance to hold all 3 ICC trophies, and obviously that's still alive pending on what happens tonight. But I guess how do you process the disappointment in a T20 World Cup when things just happen so suddenly? Like, you'd played very well during the group stage, and then suddenly two bad days and it's almost over.
Yeah, I remember the last 2 World Cups we've probably had one bad day in each one, and we won one and didn't make the semis in the other. So it's pretty cutthroat. Definitely like the new format, how you get a bit more of a run at it. It's not sudden death straight off. But even South Africa, if they lost last night, they were out basically. So that can be how cutthroat it is. They win 6 games in a row, lose 1, and they're out. So I guess that's the nature of T20 as well. You've got to be on your day, got to be on your game every day that you turn up. So it's disappointing. But who knows what'll happen tonight.
And win or lose, do you think there might be a bit of a changing of the guard in the T20 team, given the age of all you guys and the fact that it'll be another couple of years till the next World Cup?
Yeah, they come around pretty quick, the T20 World Cups every 2 years. So I don't know, there might be a couple of changes, but a lot of the guys still playing the franchise cricket if they're not playing for Australia, so they're available to be picked. And there's some class players in our 11 in our 15. And we've got a couple on the bench as well. So you'd think it'd be a natural slow change. I don't think there'd be anything drastic.
Mate, just one last one on the format. Could things be improved a bit if it was reversed a little bit and there was the group games were perhaps the ones that were close together and you have a bit more time to breathe during the Super 8s?
Potentially, I think. You could just balance them out, I guess, with similar breaks. I can understand they want to sort of create the hype during the Super 8s and get a lot of games back to back, and it all comes to a head pretty quickly, and with a lot of eyes on it. So, but it could be. I think every tournament can be improved when you look back at it. So, no doubt this one will be the same.